Welcome to The Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for The Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
So have you ever decided or thought about the difference between buying a tablet and a phone or a laptop? It's Monday, Jim.
Man, you and I both are flying this morning.
Well, you know, I left my show notes at the office.
Yeah.
So I have to make it up today. I'm just saying. So
you and I both, I think, are running on fumes.
Yeah,
here. I don't know
we
what the
really
deal
are.
is.
It must be that 4-day weekend or something.
Yeah, the 4-day weekend.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to decide whether you should have a tablet or a laptop. You know, a lot of sales right now because it's Cyber Monday and Christmas season, so a lot of great sales out there. We're going to be talking about how to protect yourself online, another security breach that came out over the weekend. So we're going to really discuss today about how you protect yourself and some of the common sense things you can do around that. Later in the hour, Katie Aquino will be joining us to talk about that as well. And all kinds of cool things, too. Jim just gave me a little bit of a note here about the Amazon Prime and their drone service to deliver packages.
He was my favorite Transformer, by the way.
Amazon Prime?
Yes.
At the control panel, by the way, producer extraordinaire Jim Walsh.
Oh, 4-day weekends. You got to love them.
Yep. And, of course, for whatever reason, we've been streaming on Blab. So if you're joining us on Blab, the video is there. The audio is not working for whatever reason. So
we're miming today?
People were saying that you should be signing the show. So
doing a Marceau tribute show today, yes. We'll be walking against the wind.
So for those who are joining us on Blab, although they probably don't know this, but they can't hear what we're saying, so that's just too bad. Hopefully we'll get that figured out as the show goes on. Anyway, and then joining us on the phone, somebody I met at the Charlotte Maker Fair. I was down in Charlotte, North Carolina a few weeks ago, and this gentleman has a very, very unique idea, and we'll bring him on right now. So, Charles, are you there?
Hi there. How's it going?
Doing fine, Charles. Everybody, this is Charles Johnson. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the company that you're starting to form, Charles?
Well, I founded a company called Daedalus Creations. The main goal of this company is to create a simple flat pack furniture geared towards the college dorm life. Furniture that's directed towards small living spaces and something that doesn't exactly, you're not exactly going to have to use it for years to come.
Sure. And the one thing that, two things I wanted to get you on the show for. First is that you're using a little tech to design the furniture that you're putting together. But secondly is the ease of transporting, explain that a little bit more about why your furniture is going to be so different.
Well, the idea of flat pack furniture is just the concept of cutting things and connecting them in a way to where they just fit just as is. So there's no screws or bolts or anything, which allows you to, although they wedge together and they're a tight fit, when you really want to take them apart, if you just tap them with a hammer or just use a little force, you can take them apart and they lay flat. So if you need to if you're a college student and you're traveling across the country to whatever college you're either going to or coming from, you can lay it flat in the back of whatever car you're using or truck, and it's not as intrusive. So you can just pack and stack more things.
Sure. So it basically lays flat while you're moving things around. And again, there's no screws, no nails, no bolts, none of this stuff. It just fits together.
Right.
So if it's a coffee table, for example, you just put it together, and that's it. I mean, there are no tools required.
Right. Basically, it's just a little bit of brute force just to get it together, but that's just part of it is that added amount of force just means that it's wedged together real tight.
So what kind of products do you have right now? I mean, what things have you developed that you've been showing off?
Right now, we're still in the developmental phase. Still haven't sold any products yet, but everything that I have right now consists of step stools, coffee tables, ladders, things like that.
Okay.
I developed this stuff using CNC machines are just kind of a prototyping devices. So, I've changed the ideas and shapes of some of these things a couple times.
And I'm going to stop you right there, Charles. Why don't you let everybody know, a lot of people who are listening probably don't know what a CNC machine is. Why don't you explain what that is real quick?
Right. Well, if you just use, there's lots of different software online for 3D modeling and design. You start there and you translate that into some code, which you send to basically an automated router, and it takes that and it runs it across a board or piece of wood, whatever it might be. In my case, it's a sheet of plywood, and it has a set of commands that tells it what to cut out.
Okay.
And so it automates that entire process.
So, and of course, a router, we're not talking about a router that you use for your network. We're talking about a router that you use on wood.
Right.
Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that for everybody. So, yeah, so this thing actually will cut to the specs that you have sent to it from a computer. So it's very exact, is it not?
Right. And it all just depends on the type of materials that you use to build the CNC machine. Basically, just the frame is about as all, more precise, more expensive the frame, the better quality parts you get out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you started a Rocket Hub crowdfunding campaign. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it started last Saturday on RocketHub.com, and my mission is to raise $3,000 in just about 2 months.
Okay.
So you can go on RocketHub.com and search Daedalus Creations, and my page will pop right up. And there's lots of wonderful things to do on that page, and you can get a lot of cool stuff, whether it be my furniture or just some of the designs for things like the CNC machine.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're at in your career right now, Charles?
Well, I'm a sophomore at Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay, and that's what intrigues me about what you're doing. By the way, you're a college student, and you've developed this system for this furniture for college students. I think it's genius, and I will have your link at thetechranch.com. So if people want to find out more about what Charles is up to, and the furniture that he's looking to create and sell in the future, you got to go check this out. It's really very cool.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Charles, and have a great day. And again, everybody will have that link up on the site by the end of the day. So, and after the break, everybody, we will be talking about the new Amazon delivery system, as well as if you should buy a tablet or a laptop. So come on back.
Right now, 28.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank our listeners across the country and around the world who join us on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. We're on the Roku, Apple TV, iTunes, Tuned In. I'm trying to think of all of them. And, of course, Radio Pup, our own app here, Radio Pup. And sometimes on Blab. We're not on, we're streaming the video part on Blab today, but for whatever reason, I can't get the audio to work.
Let me see if I can pull it up over here on my
yeah,
computer.
Okay, that'd be great. But anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about buying a tablet or a laptop and the differences that you can expect when you're out there looking. Because right now, there's a ton of great deals. It's Cyber Monday today, and you might even be thinking about something for your kids or maybe upgrading yourself. And you kind of have to look at, well, first of all, generally speaking, you're going to always have better power as far as processor speed, more memory, and also more hard drive space if you have a laptop. That's just generally how it is. But you put up a little bit of an inconvenience, of course, with it because it's usually bigger. And I'm saying usually because the line is starting to get blurred a little bit between tablets and laptops. And that's, I think, what confuses a lot of people when they're out buying things, because that's kind of, you're not really sure. Should I go with a tablet? Should I go with a laptop? Because you can buy tablets that have keyboards with them now. or you can buy a laptop that has a detachable screen that's a touch screen, so it feels like a tablet. So you kind of have, it's really starting to get blurred a little bit, but generally speaking, you will always have more power with the laptop. But you have to buy the device that you think will work for you. So if you're, and I'm just thinking if you're buying for your children, for example, a lot of times they're just going to prefer that tablet experience because they're more interested in playing games and maybe some video conferencing with their friends or with their parents or what have you. So, those type of things are possible on the laptop. Of course, not as much or not as portable, although the whole point of having a laptop is that it is a computer that you can carry around with you. So, Jim, you have a laptop, right?
Well, actually, I no longer have a laptop. I now have a pad.
Oh!
I should have brought it with me today.
Do you have an iPad or an Android?
It's an Samsung.
Okay, I
got it from Verizon, whichever one that is.
Okay, so that would be an Android. So,
okay, that'd be a Droid.
So, and are you using it quite a bit?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit. I've already run well over my allotted.
Your data plan has exploded on you?
My data plan has gone thermonuclear. Yes.
So, do you have internet in your house, or have you always just used?
We're gonna get Wi-Fi in the house.
Okay, so you don't have this now.
Not currently, but we do live in an apartment where a lot of folks have it, so it's available.
Sure. So, and that's one of the things, of course, if you have a tablet or whatever with your data plan.
You can watch movies and all kinds of stuff that way, not worry about it.
Right, exactly, because now you have to. Because if you stream a movie for a couple hours, you've probably used up most of your data plan already.
I've well overgone my data plan big time. I went over my data plan about 2 weeks ago.
Unreal.
And it comes up again, it clicks over on the 6th. Of every month.
So are they charging you like $10 extra a gig, or what's the
I think
the
it's
rate?
like 15 extra a gig.
Oh my goodness!
Ridiculous amount of money. Well, it's Verizon.
So does it pop up and you have to it before you go on? And
no. It just they just tack it onto the bill next time around.
So they're not asking you; they're just reminding you.
They're just reminding you we're going to tack this onto your bill next time. You're going to have to pay it eventually.
Right. Wow. Okay.
No, you don't have to pay it as you go. It's,
I understand. I'm just I think on mine it actually asks if I want to going over my allotment. So then I have to click OK for it to go on. But I'm not sure now, actually, because I haven't gone over mine for a while.
The prompter on mine will ask if I want to go ahead and pay for more time.
I see. Okay.
But whether I do or not, it just lets me go on with it.
Okay. So
it keeps giving me rope so I can hang myself.
So the difference between a laptop for you and the tablet, I mean, what prompted you to go to the tablet over the laptop?
Well, just convenience. I mean, you can carry the thing around with you.
Okay.
If you have a big wintry coat like I have, you can stick it in your coat pocket.
Sure.
And there it is. Now, I do have a phone also.
Okay.
And my wife has a phone.
Okay.
And between the two phones and the pad, that's where we're racking up. Racking everything up.
All the data. Yeah. You bet.
Racking up all the data.
So, this is interesting. I think a lot of people are doing what you're doing. They're moving more towards the tablets because of the convenience part. But this is the thing with tablets versus computers, not that they're not all computers, but between that and a laptop or a desktop, is that we're in this weird area with apps right now.
Yeah.
An app isn't a full-blown piece of software. Like if you're going to edit a photo, for example, I mean, you can do some minor editing on a tablet, but
a little bit.
But the challenge becomes when you really need to do a lot of editing on there, or you're writing a business plan or things like that. To open up Word, for example, on a tablet, it doesn't really work as well as
a lot of times they don't even give you the option to do editing.
That's correct. So those are the challenges that you have right now.
Right.
Now, Microsoft, of course, with their App Store, they're trying to make it so it works across everything. So if you have a Surface or a Microsoft phone or a Microsoft-based computer, not a Windows-based computer, that if you're running Windows 10 on all these, that you should be able to use those apps across everything.
Yeah.
Now, the thing there is that I'm saying usually, and they expect that to happen, that isn't what's going on right now. Like I said, we're in this area of flux. There's just so many different apps that have been built out there that are basically specific little things.
Yeah.
a GPS tracker or whatever it is that you're doing, which is, you would never do that on a desktop, for example.
Yeah. Now I was going to say, eventually I'm probably going to wind up getting another laptop anyway because of exactly what we're talking about here. The fact there's a lot of business-oriented stuff that you simply cannot do on obviously a phone or even the pad.
Right. But I do feel that over the next couple of years, this is kind of the big convergence that's going on right now.
Right.
I actually feel that there will be more and more software type of things, disguised as apps, but you'll just be able to do more and more and more with those. And of course, cloud-based software is changing this as well. So, for example, I use Google Docs a lot. So in my Google account, I go into Google Docs, and I can access that from my laptop, from my desktop, from my tablet that I have sitting here.
Yeah.
And those docs are available and editable anytime I want to, but they're not resident on any of my devices.
They're not edible. They're editable.
Editable. What did I say? Edible?
No, you said editable, but immediately I'm thinking, me with my twisted mind.
Sure. So, that's the other thing is that if you're doing a lot of stuff that's cloud-based, then a tablet is probably okay.
Cloud-based, we mean simply you're doing a lot of stuff that you keep on the net,
right?
In the so-called cloud.
Exactly. So that way, and the software itself is based in the cloud as well. So you don't have the app on your tablet, for example. I mean, you might have the app to access the cloud-based service that you have, but the actual rendering and all that stuff that goes on is not on your tablet or your PC or whatever. It's going on in the cloud. So, if you're using Google Docs or Microsoft 365 or any of those things, all of that stuff will probably work okay with a tablet.
Well, I keep I try to keep as many bases covered as possible. I have stuff on my computer that I also have in the cloud. So if one goes, I got the other one.
Sure. And that's good to have it that way, actually. People should have redundant backup, and making sure that their documents are saved.
Even the cloud, I mean, not to sound paranoid, but how difficult would it be? You take a terrorist group with a small nuke, they exploded over a major city, the electromagnetic pulse knocks everything out.
Right.
And all the information on your cloud is, I don't know, where's it go?
Right.
Goes to data heaven, I guess. I don't know.
And you're right. I mean, and people... I pick on Scott all the time, but you and I both know Scott Weil pretty well. He always talks about what happens if Facebook were to close tomorrow. And they didn't give anybody any notice. I mean, are you using Facebook to store all of your photos? A lot of people are.
Yeah.
They put all that stuff up on there.
Some hacker got in there and did serious damage to it.
All kinds of crazy things could happen,
I mean, we've already had things happen to it through hacking.
Absolutely. So you have to be cognitive of these things and make sure that if those photos and things that you're storing on a cloud service, whether it's Facebook or Google Drive or any of those things.
Cover your bases.
Yeah.
Redundancy is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Line of work.
Yeah. Make sure that if those photos are important to you, have them in two places. If that document's important to you, have it in two places at least. Jump drives are nice for that type of thing, of course. I don't trust jump drives like most people do.
Yeah.
But I also, you just need to have that. The thing with jump drives, and I were just talking about this right before the show that you needed to get one. They're so people move with them all the time.
Yeah.
So you drop them in a puddle of water, you do all this other stuff to them, and they break down after a while. You'd be surprised how many people bring in their jump drives to our shop.
Sure.
Because, and they're backing their QuickBooks up on it, and all of a sudden their regular computer dies and their jump drive isn't working anymore, and they're like, oh my goodness, I got my whole life here. You shouldn't do that.
Hey, Katie, you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Cool. Hey, Blab's not working right now, Katie, so...
Oh, okay.
So don't. I think we're
panic.
on there, but we're not. You can't hear through it, so you can hop in there and
you
talk.
Can see
if
it.
you
Well,
like
we
to.
can see Katie.
We can see Katie, and that's okay. That would be okay if you want to jump in and do that.
I like to see Katie. I like to look at Katie. Never mind.
So
never mind.
So anyway, we're just coming up in the bottom of the hour here. Katie, before we go to break here, what do you prefer, tablet or laptop?
Laptop.
Really, and the reason for that?
Just because there's more capabilities with it right now, but once you're able to get as many, we're getting there. It's on the cusp, I feel like. I'll be able to transition soon. I feel like with the first iPads that I had, it was kind of limited, but now it's kind of getting to the point where it's sort of becoming one, and I'd like to be free of the laptop. So that would be great.
Sure.
On the cusp, that's exactly what you were saying.
Exactly what I was saying, too. All right, everybody, after the break, we'll continue the conversation with Jim and Katie, and we're going to get into how you protect yourself online, so come on back.
Right now, 28.
Wherever you are, SuperTalk 1270 is there at supertalk1270.com. The Radio Pulp app, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. SuperTalk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're talking about what you should buy, a tablet or a laptop. We're also going to get into Amazon Prime, and they're going to start delivering with a drone. And, of course, Miss Metaverse Katie Aquino, Jim, and myself will be chatting about how to protect yourself while you're online. So, how you doing, Katie?
Doing well, Marlon. How you doing?
Doing fine, too. And, again, we really apologize to our Blab followers out there. We have no audio today. I opened up, I bought a new cord to plug in between the board and the computer, and I believe the cord is defective, and I don't have a replacement on hand. So what do? You just kind of stuck. So anyway, are you having fun, Jim?
Yeah.
So
if you could read lips right now.
Did you have a haircut by drone, by the way?
Yeah, I had a haircut by drone over the weekend. And we're mentioning this because I don't know if I'm going to show this or what the hell? Where is the camera?
You're looking at it right there.
Okay, right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I don't know if you can see this or not. Take a look at what they did to my hair. Now, I'm not going to say where I had my hair cut, but this is the result. You ready? This is why my wife, bless her, she went out over the weekend and bought me a bunch of hats. See if you can see this guy. Now, can you see this? Can you see that?
They kind of for those you have to see this to believe this. Actually, yeah, they kind of took a little extra hair off the back of your head, Jim.
Yeah, General Custer had a better haircut than I got. He lost less hair.
So they got. I think Ron Popeil, didn't he have that spray on hair stuff?
You can buy those on Amazon via drone.
Yeah, we could have that delivered via drone right to you right now.
I will say this. This is not a commercial for Bosley, but about a year ago, I stopped in and talked to a plastic surgeon in town about the option for a hair transplant eventually, not right now. But the guy said, I no longer do them because Bosley is doing them and they're starting to get pretty good at it.
Wow.
They're getting really good at it. So I just send all my business there.
Interesting.
I still would look into it.
Sure.
But I probably will definitely get something done in the back here if this doesn't grow back. Jeez.
I would think it'll grow back, Jim.
Or we can grow some more in a Petri dish.
There you go.
You could just shave it all off.
I thought about that. My wife said, no, don't do that. I thought about it, and I see her point. My head I have a weird-shaped head. My head is flat on top, and she's afraid I'd look weird.
I see.
Like I don't already, with this thing. But I love my wife, and I like my hair. I really miss my hair. I've lost a lot of hair over the years.
Yep. Me too, by the way. I am creative with the one strand that I have left, yeah. So anyway, getting away from hair for a little bit.
Yeah.
Since we're a tech show. Let's talk a little bit about Amazon Prime. So have you been following this, Katie, that they're about ready to start delivering?
Yes, I have been. And finally, thank goodness. I mean, we've been talking about this for how long now? And it seems that finally Amazon's moving along. Originally, they missed their deadline in October, but now it seems like they're going to be shooting for early 2016. And that's, all regarding all the FAA rules and regulations that have been kind of pushing all of this back. Amazon was ready to go with their drone delivery program, and originally their plan was that they will be able to deliver packages weighing up to 5 pounds in 30 minutes or less. But it's all about legislation, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to be coming on out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. And I was just looking at, Jim just handed me the press release that they did. And, of course, they're waiting on the restrictions, waiting to see what the government will allow them to do. But their drones will clock in at 55 pounds.
Yep.
So they're not small drones here. These are pretty substantial aircraft, actually. And we'll be able to deliver up to 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of stuff you can have delivered, including pizzas.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Amazon will get into the pizza.
Food.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll get into the. That is interesting. Actually, Amazon has moved into a lot of markets. I wonder if they'll actually offer delivery services for other companies.
I believe that there will be other companies in their footsteps coming out. I think that definitely Amazon will be the leader in the forefront of doing this type of delivery system, but I think that we will see other companies doing it. And why wouldn't they network with other companies as well? I think that the more the merrier. Let's push things along. Let's open up doors for also real people who like to sell from home. There's so many people now, thanks to the maker movement, who are making their own goods and their services, and being able to utilize drones will also help with shipping costs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I just came up with maybe an idea as to why the audio isn't. No, that's still not it. I'm just befuddled here about why we don't have audio on Blab today.
Yeah, we'll just roll with it.
Yeah,
we're just going to
guess.
do our. We're telling people it's a tribute show to Marcel Marceau. We're going to be walking against the wind and.
So anyway, I think it's a game changer too, and I believe that you're correct, Katie. That we'll have other companies that are going to emerge that will offer delivery services. I mean, you might have a local pizza joint that can't afford or doesn't want to get in the delivery game with drones, but they can subcontract that out to another company who's also doing other services with delivery and be able to deliver pizzas and Chinese food and everything else. So I really believe that that's where we're going here.
Definitely.
So very, very exciting, actually. I can't wait to see a couple drones in there delivering things. So now let's get into a little bit about protecting yourself online. Today is Cyber Monday, of course.
Yay.
And we just had some wonderful news about a couple of payment systems that were breached back in 2010, 2011. That they're just coming out with right now.
They're just now telling us.
Just telling us after they figured about 8 million people.
Do we know what systems were?
Well, these are actually gambling, casino, online gambling type of things. Okay, so they were breached, and then they just found out about it recently and just came out, and they've made some changes now, so they can't, supposedly can't get breached again. But this is the thing, everybody. Well, Katie, I know this is a common theme all the time, isn't it?
It is. You hear about it all the time, and it's scary. It's really just a dice roll out there. I mean, I've been doing a lot of research, even for today's show, and just finding so many things. It's scary, And
a lot of times, what's interesting about it is that, sometimes they get the credit card information. In this instance, they did not. It was the username, passwords type of deal. Okay, and if you have access to that, then you can get into the account and then get the credit card information. So the number one thing that you can do to protect yourself is, this is a question to Jim and Katie.
Don't gamble online, for one thing. If you ever see me gambling online,
change your passwords constantly and shoot me. And get creative with your passwords as well.
Yeah. That is correct, Katie, because the stuff that they had taken, if you change your password within days after they do this, they can't access your stuff. It's just like your own bank account that you have at the bank. You should be doing this often and figure out a system, and just to give you an idea, there are things, maybe there's two favorite words that you use, or two middle names or something like that. You can make a combination of those, put a punctuation mark or two in there, capitalize one or two letters. The odds of you getting, hacked when you do that is very, very small. But so you don't have to worry so much about your own personal account getting hacked. What you have to worry about is that the whole system gets hacked into and they steal that password, so that you should be in there changing that often, and then you never have to worry about it at all.
Yeah.
So is that my rant for the day?
Well, I just think that it is important because, especially with Cyber Monday and everything like that, I think one of my favorite quotes that I read was, "'Tis the season to take advantage of people," because people are distracted, and we're all distracted with the holidays, shopping, even looking at viral videos of all the craziness that's happening. I mean, it's easier than ever for people to, unfortunately, have their passwords stolen or perhaps use the wrong website. And one of the things that I saw, and I have been noticing quite more frequently lately, and it's very, very frustrating, is emails. You get emails nowadays. It could be either an email or a link And this is what thieves are doing now, is that they're sending people an email that seems to be from a legitimate source. So it could be your favorite retail store. It could be like Bed Bath Beyond or something like that you're signed up to. But the catch is that they email you with this fake email, and the email has an altered URL. So when you click on it, it actually sends you to a fake site that is designed to collect your personal information. So that's scary.
So what's the trick to knowing that you're going to the right site?
Well, I think that you have to really take another second, make sure that it's actually sent from that retail store. And there are slight differences. You can see in the URL that it's an altered URL. It's not bestbuy.com/anything. It's going to be a fishy kind of URL, or you're going to see that there's something kind of off about it. So, we are distracted. When we're distracted, we make mistakes. So it's, we have to be mindful, and we have to be more aware of what's going on.
Yeah, and I think the other one and it's really coming back now again too, is that your package has been shipped by FedEx or UPS or the mail service, or you have a package waiting, or your package was undeliverable. These are legit things that these companies send out, but these are also ways for phishing schemes and that type of thing. So when you have a click here, to track your package or something like that, when you hover over the click here, the link that's on there, if you look in the lower left-hand side of your email client, if you don't see what the URL is there, you can see it on the bottom. And if you look at that, and just like Katie was saying, it'll show you what that URL is, and it might not be FedEx or UPS. It'll be something else, and you just don't want to click on them. If you ever are in doubt, do not click. I mean, it's just simple as that.
When in doubt, check it out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because you can call these companies and verify this stuff if you need to.
You definitely can. And another thing, too, you just have to be careful. You got to take that extra, second out and make sure you know what you're clicking on. And, be aware. Definitely be aware. It's more important than ever.
All right, everybody, after the break, we'll continue our discussion on how to keep safe on the internet. So coming back.
Right now, 30.
Stay up to date. The Red Eye Radio. Overnight on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're talking about keeping you safe online today. Coming in from New York, Miss Metaverse Katie Aquino in the studio. Jim, producer extraordinaire Walsh. We have to come up. Oh, the Tech Geezer. That's right. The Tech Geezer. Jim Walsh. What did you do, Tech Geezer, to keep yourself safe online?
Hey, check my teeth out.
I would do it. So anyway, everybody, that's great on the cuff like that. Yeah. And of course, we're streaming live on Blab. Unfortunately, our audio is not working, and we really apologize to those who are joining us there. And it's not, you can see us, but you can't hear us today. So, which I'm not sure. I think most people would rather hear us than see us. So, people who are joining us on regular radio.
Yeah, I've been told I have a face for radio.
Me too. So, I guess we're a matched set there, Jim. So. So Katie, other advice you can give us maybe as far as what we can do to keep ourselves safe online?
Definitely. This is one that we kind of don't even think about, and that's making sure that your apps are up to date, because there's a lot of security updates that come with apps, and a lot of times we end up forgetting about how to update our apps, and next thing you know, maybe that update could have helped prevent any identity theft. So that's one of the things that's suggested, and I try to do that regularly.
Well, in fact, the number one reason that there are app or software updates is because of security vulnerabilities that they have found in their software. Somebody's exploited something or whatever, so it's a patch to fix it.
It's a constant race between the better mousetrap and the bigger mouse.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And if you don't update your stuff regularly, then you are actually exposing yourself to that possibility of being, your computer being hacked or somebody, coming in with a virus or whatever. So very, very important to keep your stuff up to date. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't have that on my list, actually.
Yeah, there's so many ways. I mean, it's a little hard to take care of, all the time, but, just being conscious of it, like I said before, it's, I think that it's always evolving, and you always have to keep evolving as well.
So another way, too, is, if you go to, and I do this a lot, actually, I'll type in the wrong website. Let's say I'm going to PayPal, and the T is next to the Y on the keyboard, so I'll type in PatPal or something like that, you know. And what's crazy about it is these bad doers online know this, and I'll go there and I'm like, wow. I mean, I think I'm on PayPal's website, and then I realize that there's something not quite right about this website, and I realized I typed in PatPal instead of PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
And, all I would have had to do is try to log into my PayPal account, and I would have given them everything they needed to access my PayPal account. And that's what they're waiting for. That's what they're there for.
Scary.
It is very scary. And then the other thing that happens a lot is that if you're checking out someplace and you get this little red URL across the top, or you get a little warning that pops up that says that their SSL certificate is out of date, you need to stop right now, because what that means is that the company that you're doing business with haven't taken the proper precautions on their side to protect their customer from, because what happens generally is when you have an SSL or a secured socket layer is what it's called, an SSL, it actually encrypts the data going across the internet. So you type in your credit card number, and as soon as you hit submit, it goes across the internet, and it's encrypted, and the only person that can see that then is the company that you're sending it to, because they have the key to unlock that, or whether it's the credit card processor or whatever. If they don't have those credentials in place, and usually you'll get this warning on your website that's the case, that stuff may not be encrypted, and it's just like me hollering out my social security number or my credit card number in a crowd of people. And granted, nobody might be listening to me, but there might be somebody that is, and they can just pull that information right out of right off the fiber going through the internet.
Exactly. And you have to be careful, too. Another thing is we see a lot of people that set up their own online shops on their websites, and we're finding more and more neat things that people are making, and we might want to purchase, independent retailers. We might find something we want and make a purchase, but be wary of any website that allows you to put in your credit card information directly and not through a service like SagePay or PayPal, because then they're just keeping it on their own website. And like you said before, Marlo, if they don't have an SSL certificate, that means that they are not up to code, up to standard. So definitely be wary of that.
Yeah, and it's actually illegal for them to have that, but the issue is in the enforcement of it. There are just so many websites out there, and things change so quickly that it's difficult for small companies a lot of time to keep up with the changes that are going on, especially if their main business is not what you see online, but maybe a small shop in their town or whatever, and their internet business is a secondary. Then they probably don't spend as much time, keeping their website up to date and keeping up with all the legalities that are going on.
Exactly.
So, okay, anything else that you can throw at us to keep us safe online?
Yes, I actually like LifeLock. I know it's so, it just seems very mainstream, and I know there have been some issues that I've at least read about. But for the most part, I've used it. I've never had a problem with it. And I do recommend it. It's a good way to monitor and see if anybody's opening up credit cards in your name. There's different types of plans that you could choose from. I mean, it's not trying to do some kind of a promotion for them, but I do believe that it's good to have some kind of a service to help you monitor and make sure that nobody has stolen your credit cards. And this way you can have a notification as soon as something happens. And this way, the sooner you find something, the sooner you fix it, the better off you are.
So there are other services out there besides LifeLock, though, are there not?
Oh, there's so many.
Okay.
There's plenty.
And I've never actually done a show on that. We should probably do that sometime, actually, compare the different services.
Yeah.
So I have no idea who's the best. LifeLock, of course, is the one that everybody knows because you hear about them, advertised all the time on the radio and things. So yeah, I'm not really sure, but you're right. You should have some type of monitoring service because if somebody does try to do something, it'll block them out.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's great advice. So anything else?
I think that should do it for me.
Wow. Okay. I think one of the things that we probably forget a lot about too is just using common sense. if you have a gut feeling that maybe there's something wrong with the site that you're at, or maybe the price is too good. I've fallen victim to this too a couple times. I'm on eBay or something, and something I'm looking at. Everybody else is at $100, and this one person's at $40. Why is it at $40? And that grabs you in right away. And you're like, yes, I'm going to save $60 on this. You need to read the fine print. A lot of times it'll state in there that it's a store model, or that it's not working, parts only, and they'll hide these little descriptions in there. And you don't take the time to read these, and the next thing you know, you've basically bought garbage. So,
right, definitely. And another thing too is if for all those people out there that are downloading movies or even YouTube videos, be very careful, because there's a lot of services out there that tell you can download a song for free or something like that, and next thing you know, you're using some shady service that is potentially downloading a program onto your computer that could spy on what you do and get your credit card information. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And the number one way that these type of viruses and things get on your computer now is they trick you. Virus protection is actually pretty good. They'll stop things from happening, coming through email or whatever. But if you click on something and give it the okay, there's nothing a virus protection can do to stop that, because it thinks that you're actually giving it the okay to install. It thinks it's a software or something, and we'll let it go through. So you're absolutely right about that. And one of the things that they do a lot, in fact, I was just working on things this morning here before the show, and I needed a driver, hopping onto a website to download the driver, and then they got another download button underneath the download that you're trying to get. So you're not sure actually which one you're supposed to even click on, and lo and behold, I clicked on the wrong one, and all of a sudden it's going to this other website again, and I'm like, oh my goodness, even I get snookered occasionally with this stuff. So
absolutely.
So yeah, absolutely. So anyway, so next week, we have a couple minutes left here, so I'm going to be riding in the new Peterbilt autonomous truck.
Oh, that's so cool.
Looking forward to that. And actually, and I'm putting you on the spot here, but maybe like next Wednesday, you and I will have to get online. I think I'm in the truck on Wednesday, so I think we should actually open up an online version like on Blab or something, so we can report from that event at the Texas Motor Speedway. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That would be so cool. I'm totally down.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Jim.
Yes.
It's a pleasure as always.
A financial pleasure.
Yes. We'll wrap up the show so you can actually use the ending credits for a change. You probably don't even have them queued up. We haven't used them for so long because we run out of time.
I don't even know where they are. We got them here on the panel somewhere.
Hey, you found it?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So anyway, everybody, have a great week. I hope you're awake from Thanksgiving, and welcome back to work.
You've been listening to The Tech Ranch, live and local on Super Talk 1270. Keep ahead of the trends. Tune in every Monday morning at 11 a.m. for The Tech Ranch. Exclusively here on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.